Because there's plenty of sexist things in video games on the male side too, and we never look at those.
No, we really don't.
And, we should. And I don't know how you would approach it because, even back in the 90s, of how many video games were having to be altered because of violence against women, one of the most famous of which is probably Final Fight, but there was a lot of other cases like that too, where they were altered characters from the Japanese versions that were female into male characters, so they wouldn't be quite so controversial, and a lot of that still goes on today, but at the same time, women want more women characters in video games. But getting that balance of violence against women versus... I
think in Japan, it isn't such an issue, it seems like. Like, even today, it doesn't seem like it's such a major issue over there.
Well, Japan is kind of a strange creature that is still very sexist against women, and I will say that.
Yeah, they kind of are.
But at the same time, they trivialize men in such a way that I don't think many other cultures do either. So I think it's one of those situations where it's very different kind of sexism, but it's there, but it's different. Yeah, whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah, differently. I would say, I'd say not as bad, but it's still there.
Because, we were talking about a country where once upon a time, I don't think that happens anymore, but like the late 90s where you could actually buy teenagers' panties in a vending machine. There's something a little wrong with that, but...
You still can.
Yeah.
Japan's a whole nother discussion. We could talk about Japan for an entire episode.
And it is highly video game related because even NIS, I love their games, but they do have some very controversial stuff going on lately. Like, I think it was Mugen Souls that has the minigame where you basically feel up the very underage looking female characters. I'm kind of a little more open with that sort of thing than probably most people are, but that's still pushing things way too far, I think.
Yeah.
If it was a scantily clad man, would that be okay?
At least make the female characters a little older. That might make me a little more comfortable.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they were
that too.
Super young.
Well, they're chibi characters, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, God. Dear God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, Dizagaya.
That is true.
Yep.
And we can't have Etna say a damn thing.
That's why I'm not getting her involved in this particular conversation.
It'll be our final podcast using PrinnyCast.
I don't want Nippon Ichi wait a minute, do not have Etna saying things that we would not agree with, because that is her character, and I don't want to get involved with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's a lot of social justice warriors, I think they're called. Apparently this is it's almost a meme from the sounds of it, because it keeps popping up in comments everywhere. But I understand where the social justice warrior kind of mentality came from. Goodness knows, my first couple of years online, I was a big proponent about protecting people, to the point that I was probably way overzealous, and I probably did a lot of stupid things I should not have done, hurt people I should not have, said things I should not have, all for the case of trying to help somebody that I probably should not have.
But, most people don't realize this, but I was a damn humanitarian. Me, humanitarian. Most people would not know that now, but there was a point where I was a humanitarian, so it's just kind of...
I don't know, you sound like somebody that once thought very highly of society and then became jaded with it. You've always struck me as that kind of person.
Become very corrupted by society. Just like, we can save the world, and then, 10 years later, it's like, oh, no, let this place burn. Let's figure out what to do with it then.
I'll let Mike throw in some lines here if he's got anything.
Oh, I pretty much said everything I was going to say. I said spoke my mind there.
And I didn't mean to get stuck specifically on just the feminist situation, because despite it being probably the heavier of them, the homosexual bigotry thing, the racism actually seems to be taken back a little bit. I have not heard nearly as many about that lately, but it may be because they're less popular of an interest group these days for the media to get a hold of. And the media likes anything that can sell, so if they can sell you a story or throw in some controversy, which GameSpot is particularly really bad at it. They have at least 2 editors there. Eddie Murkaw, I think is his name, who seems to go out of his way to find stories that will cause controversy just so they can add up a lot of comments. And a lot of comments means a lot of hits on the page. A lot of hits on the page means money. So yeah, Eddie, I do not like you.
That give the death threats.
And from the sounds of a lot of the commenters on GameSpot, most people don't like Eddie. But I think he's the editor-in-chief, so they're not going to get rid of him anytime soon. Until he steps over the line, I guess.
Are morons, so there you go.
He's also somebody that's very well known for being plagiarist. He'll take a story straight out of somebody else's and he just copy-paste, puts his name on it. The end. Am I rambling too much?
This has gone pretty long.
Yeah, I'll need to end it. But the feminist thing is probably the biggest issue for me, because it is something that I've had to deal with so often, and because of my childhood was not exactly pleasant because of feminist idealisms. I grew up in a situation where men were basically sexual beasts that could do no right, and women were angels who were perfect and could do no wrong at the time. But yeah, you grow up around that type of stuff. There is no reason why I should probably not be a chauvinist. is. Because when you've had that extreme shoved in your face for so long, it kind of burns on a person. And I know that's where a lot of feminists come from, is because they've had the reverse happen to them. I understand that. They are tired of these tropes and these horrible people that have done these evil things to them. But you cannot group everybody together, and you especially should not. Where we're talking video games here, so let's focus on the video games. You do not take an entire business realm and say, do it my way or you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If you want games that respond to more of what you want, have them made. Ask people to make those games. Make them yourself. There is plenty of game makers out there that are looking for new angles. They will be tackling these issues because you have brought them up. But do not go yelling and screaming and calling horrible names to people that are doing what they love without hatred.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Absolutely.
Developers, you throw enough money at a developer, they will do whatever you want.
And Kickstarter is a perfect example of that. There's a lot of controversial stuff getting funded because there's a desire for it. There's a want for it. So you cannot give me the excuse that the money isn't there. I know you have to have certain advertising skills to get it done. And let's not get back into Zoe again. Not those kind of advertising skills. But yeah, I don't know. So much that needs to be changed, and I don't really know the answers to give to people, because that's what we really need. We don't need the arguments, we need the answers. And the best ones I can give is
Learn.
What was that game about the lesbians that became super, super popular because of it?
Gone Home.
Gone Home. Okay. Games like that will get more popular because it is proven that it's a financial success. So they will get the games that they want. You do not have to change everybody else's or tell how somebody else should make their games to get to that point. And I think I'm repeating myself, so yeah, I think it's time to wrap things up. I hope we didn't take anybody off, but for the large part, I think we're making more sense and being more middle of the road. Hey, let's fix this. This side isn't right. This side isn't right. We need to find a happy medium that knows the future. So, heavy stuff overall, but this is probably a subject that's going to get brought up more often. It's not going to be every week. We're not that type of show. We're more happy-go-lucky. Here's the crazy stuff that's going on.
It must be fine more.
But
it's nice to find some.
There's always going to be these controversies, and there's no stopping them as long as we do not stand up with a little bit of sanity and say, hey guys, I know you probably think you're meaning well, but you're being worse than what you're hating. You're becoming what you're hating, and worse because you're attacking other people for that hate you have for somebody else that has a hate for you. And but a bit of good news right before we head off of this week's roundtable. One of the Game Remix album compilations I've been a part of recently is getting released soon, is being briefly featured in the UK's official Nintendo magazine. So that'd be cool, yo.
Yay!
That's cool.
Special tribute album to Smash Brothers. So check that out here in about a month or two. I think it's early October. So yeah, good stuff. Follow us on Twitter at PrinnyCast, and you can contact us with email at prinnycast@gmail.com. And if you want to have comments or debates about this type of stuff, we are not one of those people, unlike Sarkeesian, who will get rid of our comments section or the ability to vote up or down our video no matter how bad it gets. We want discussion. We do not want censorship or raving lunatics. So
I should not post, ever.
But till next time, y'all.
See you next time.